I'm David Layton with Monologue Agencies. This is my front. My right side. This is my better side. All right. Well, I play guitar whenever I get down, and every morning I meditate complete with chanting and burning incense. So if you gotta walk around, I appreciate a little bit of tip-tone. Also, I sleep in the nude, buffo. And since I might have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, or I might have to go to the fridge, you know, unless you are looking for a quick thrill or advanced education for your daughter, I suggest you sleep with the door closed.
Very nice.
Thank you.
If you're ready. Okay. Science fiction. You're right, it's crazy. It's even worse than that, it's nuts. You want to hear something really nutty? I heard of a couple guys who want to build something called an airplane. You know, you go in, you fly like a bird. It's ridiculous, right? And what about breaking the sound barrier or a mission to the moon? Or atomic energy? Science fiction, right? Look, all I'm trying to do is just for you to have the tiniest vision, to just sit back and look at the big picture. To take a chance on something that just might end up being the most profoundly impactful moment of humanity, of the history of history. Thank you. Thank you.
Joshua Vanderpoel.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, thank you very much. We have a house in Jersey. We have 2 kids, Annie and Josh. Annie's not much of a violin player, but she tries real hard. She's a little precocious, but that's just because she says what's on her mind. And when she smiles. And Josh, he has your eyes. He doesn't say much, but we know he's smart. He's always got his eyes open. You know, he's always watching us. Sometimes you can look at him and you just know he's learning something new. It's like witnessing a miracle. The house is a mess, but it's ours. After 122 more payments, it's going to be ours. And you're a nonprofit lawyer. That's right. You're completely nonprofit. And that doesn't seem to bug you. And we're in love. After 13 years of marriage, we're still unbelievably in love. You won't even let me touch you till I said it. I sing to you, not all the time, but definitely on special occasions. And we've dealt with our share of surprises and made a lot of sacrifices, but we've stayed together. You see, you're a better person than I am, and it made me a better person to be around you. I don't know. Maybe it was all just a dream. Maybe I went to bed one lonely night in December and I imagined it all. But I swear, nothing has ever felt more real. And if you get on that plane right now, it'll disappear forever. I know we could both go on with our lives and we'd both be fine, but I've seen what it would be like to be together. I choose us. Please, Kate. One cup of coffee. You can always go to Paris, just please. Just not tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jasmine Parks.
I believe in the Church of Baseball. I've tried all the major religions and some of the minor ones. I've worshipped Buddha, Allah, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, trees, mushrooms, and Isidore Duncan. I know things. For instance, there's 108 beads in a Catholic rosary, and there's 108 stitches in a baseball. When I learned that, I gave Jesus a chance. But it just didn't work out between us. The Lord laid too much guilt on me. I prefer metaphysics to theology. You see, there's no guilt in baseball, and it's never boring, which makes it a lot like sex. There's never been a ball player who slept with me who didn't have the best year of his career. Making love is like hitting a baseball. You just gotta relax and concentrate. Besides, I'd never sleep with a player hitting under 250, not unless he had a lot of RBIs and was a great glove man up the middle. Sometimes when I get a ball player alone, I'll just read Emily Dickinson or Walt Whitman to him. And the guys are so sweet, they always stay and listen. Of course, a guy will listen to anything if he thinks it's foreplay. I make them feel confident, and they make me feel safe and pretty. Of course, what I give them lasts a lifetime. What they give me lasts 142 games. You know, sometimes it seems like it's a bad trade, but bad trades are a part of baseball. I mean, who can forget Frank Robinson or Milt Pappas, for God's sake? It's a long season, and you gotta trust it. I've tried them all. I really have. And the only church that feeds the soul day in, day out is the Church of Baseball. Thank you.
Anthony Cotoia. This is my right side. This is my other right side, or my left. And this is my front.
You can start whenever you're ready.
All right, thank you. I was 27 years old the first time I died. I remember there was white everywhere. There was war, and I felt alive, but really I was dead. Sometimes I think we live through things only to be able to say that it happened, that it wasn't to someone else. It was to me. Sometimes we live to beat the odds. I'm not crazy, even though they thought I was. I live in the same world as everyone else. I just saw more of it, as I'm sure you have. They'll find my body tomorrow. You can check it out if you don't believe me. I've seen life after my death, and I'm telling you this because it's the only way to help you and your daughter have a better life. Jean, you're gonna pass out one day, smoking a cigarette, and burn to death. And your daughter's gonna live the same miserable life that you've been living right now. Sometimes life can only really begin with the knowledge of death, that it can all end, even when you least want it to. She misses you so much. The important thing to remember is that it's never too late. I promise you, Jean, no matter how bad things look now, they look worse when you're asleep. When you die, there's only one thing you want to happen. You want to come back. I don't know if I have it word for word, but yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Still Daniel Alexander, free agent. Good? Okay.
Okay, when you're ready.
Okay, I'll be reading a monologue from The Fisher King as parody. No, please stop. I love you. Not just from tonight. I've known you for a long time. I know you come back out from work at noon every day, and you fight your way back in that door, and you get pushed back in the door 3 seconds later. I walk with you to lunch. I know if it's a good day if you stop and get that romance novel at the bookstore. I know what you order. I know that on Wednesdays you go to that dim sum parlor and get a jawbreaker. Yeah, before you go back to work. And I know you hate your job and you don't have as many friends. and I know sometimes you feel a little uncoordinated and don't feel as wonderful as everybody else and feeling as alone and as separate as you feel you are. I love you. I love you. And I think you're the greatest thing since Spice Tracks. And I would be knocked out several times if you would just let me have that first kiss. I won't be distant. I'll come back in the morning and I'll call you if you let me, but I still don't drink coffee. Thanks.
Thank you.
This is one side, and this is the other. Alright, you shut up and listen. You deserve to be punished what you did to death. You accept it like a man, or it will make you sorry you were ever born. We'll tell how people you sabotaged Stella's execution.
Sabotage?
And how you pissed yourself like a little frightened girl. Yes, we'll talk. That's a given. But Pearson, mind me now, we'll also see you beaten to an inch of your life. We know people too. And are you foolish you didn't realize people with friends and families that will see you do time in this place? People that would be happy to see you amputate your nose or your penis that have an extra 3 hours in the exercise room. Let bygones be bygones, and only the people in this room will ever need to know what happened to them.
Thank you.
Problem. My name is Judy Phillips, and I am with the Deborah Maddox Agency.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Alrighty. Outraged. I'm barely surprised. This is a country where women aren't allowed to drive a car. They're not allowed to be in the presence of any man other than a close relative. They have to adhere to a dress code that would make the Maryknoll nun look like Malibu Barbie. They beheaded 121 people last year for rape, robbery, and drug trafficking. There's no free press, no elected government, no political parties. And the royal family allows the religious police to travel in groups of 6 and carrying nightsticks and freely and publicly beating women. But Brutus is an honorable man. 17 schoolgirls were forced to burn alive because they didn't dress in the proper clothing. Am I outraged? No, Steve. No, Chris. No, Mark. That's Saudi Arabia, our partners in peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Judy Celaya. Okay. I'm dying. This is my last novel. My doctor told me I have something called vascular dementia, which is a series of tiny strokes. You gradually lose your memory, your words, which for a writer is pretty much the point. So that's why I had to finish this book. I had to, I think. It's my last novel. It was more accurate, I call it my first. I wrote many drafts back in my time at St. Thomas during the time of the war. I just could never have had time to finish it. Now I do. I've longed to tell the truth inside. No rhymes, no embellishments. And I think, well, you've read the book, you'll know why. I got first-hand accounts on all the things I've missed. The evacuation of Dunkirk, the conditions in prison, everything. So the effort of all of this honestly was rather pitiless, you see. I couldn't longer imagine what purpose served be by it. Because in fact, I was too much of a coward to go visit my sister in June 1940. I never made a journey to Bellum. So in the scene in which I confess is all invented, imagined. It could never happened because Robbie Turner died of septicemia on the Bay Tunes of June 1st, 1940. And I could never be able to put things right with my sister, Cecilia, because she died on the bombing of the gas and water mines of Belgium in October 15, 1940. So my sister and Robbie never had the time they deserved, they so longed for, and for which I've ever felt I prevented. What sense of hope would a reader derive from ending like that? So I don't see this as a sign of weakness or evasion, but a final act of kindness. I gave Robbie and Cecilia their happiness. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ross Elliott King.
And then whenever you're ready, you can begin.
Yeah. French writer. Total loser. Unrequited love affairs. Gay. Spent 20 years writing a book almost no one reads. But he's also probably the greatest writer since Shakespeare. And at the end of his life, he looks back and he realizes that all those years of suffering and heartache, best years of his life. The time he learned the most. The years he was happy, like truly content, he didn't learn a thing. You want to sleep until you're 18? I mean, think about the suffering you miss. I mean, high school, those are like your prime suffering years.